And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to EU League. It is our fifth and final matchup, just now about to begin. Team Vitality versus Cowana Gaming. Welcome back to the analyst desk. I'm Milos Medic. With me are Jess and Fresh.
We both done.
You'll do it at the same time. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Ooh. There you go.
Oh my god, hashtag cringe, guys. They're so cringe because they're having fun.
How dare you?
How dare
On this desk?
On this desk? Cringe? No, never.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Honest.
It's Milos's middle name, actually. Cringe.
Actually,
I
yes.
call him Milos Cringe Medic.
Finge. My family name is Finge.
Oh, it rhymes with
Rassan
cringe.
Finge. Is it Rassan Cringe? That's
Gassan Cringe.
Yeah.
Welcome to the desk.
Finge is kind of bastardization of sponge. That's where it comes from. Crusaders around 1,000 years ago were in my home city.
Whoa.
And apparently my family were sponge divers in the 1100s. Yeah, because you dove in this. We did a whole family history thing.
Oh my
Went down
God.
back 1,000 years back. Yeah.
You went back in time?
Yes.
Oh my god.
My name is
This
Dr.
man-
Who. Welcome to the show.
This man does everything. Optometrist, cringe, time traveler.
17
Wow.
languages.
Sorry, cringe expert.
Oh.
Thank you
Cringe-
very much.
No,
I did not go to university for nothing.
No. We got even better. We need a new title called Cringe Connoisseur.
A cringe connoisseur. Well, I've been around the Siege community for quite a few years, and I
So
know
it rubs off
cringe.
on us. Yeah.
I know exactly what it looks like. Don't worry, I work with Parker. So let's have a chat about this matchup. First up, Cowana Gaming. Now, you vowed to never pick Cowana Gaming Fresh because
He's been banned.
Yeah. So how do they fare today against Vitality?
They are actually coming up against a very formidable opponent, but they've got their own qualities. And their biggest quality at the minute is Benjamaster.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, he has come in and he is their shining light. He is the highest rated player by far. As a result, what we've seen is kind of Sloth and Gorgona dip off a little bit. And I wonder if kind of Gorgona, because Ben just come in, he's played a lot of Sledge and Buck. I've just created a whole new operator.
He just created a brand new
Personality.
He's played a lot of Sledge and Buck, and I wonder, because Gorgona's kind of had a shift, he's playing a lot of Habana, that type of operator, whether that's why we're seeing Gorgona take a step back. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but for Cowana, they need to really improve their consistency. 3 overtimes into a loss, into a win, is kind of not what you want. So they've got a very formidable opponent today in Vitality.
A tough one indeed, because Vitality have won now the past 3 Playdays.
Yep.
And as of yesterday, Sunday, they made it all, including Helby, to Paris in boot camp. And we all have to remember, Vitality on LAN, at least at home together. It's a different beast, Jess.
It is. They won a lot of their matches. If you're wondering what we're referencing here, is the fact that last time they were at the boot camp, they won so many of their matches consistently, and they were doing much better performance, especially when we're talking about frags like Bibu, etc.
Yeah.
He looked a lot more confident. There are players on this team that can thrive upon being around each other, having energy, etc. And that's just how a lot of these players do perform. I am looking at the stats, though, in the rankings. Team Vitality right now is barely hanging on to that 4th place. They're barely hanging on to that major position. Losing today would possibly lose them that outright. And when I mean outright, it would actually take them quite a few wins over the next few playdays for them to get themselves squarely back in there, considering the matchups that occur at upcoming matches.
They are 3 out of 3. So their losses started at the Playday 1, Playday 2. They look very poor, and they've grown into the stage as it's gone on. They've kind of elevated their performances through Playday 3, Playday 4, Playday 5. And that boot camp that you talk about is a big factor. If they can elevate their performances again, there's no thought of losses in their mind. They will just be expecting to win and win and win.
All right, our map, let's go. Best of 1 or final 1 for this evening. And where shall we go? To Villa. We're headed to Tuscany. Cowana going on the attacking side as Vitality has picked up the defense. Numbers-wise, Fresh, what are your thoughts?
Did you predict this, by the way?
No, I've got nowhere near
which
on my
I didn't
predictions.
either.
I thought that it would be Oregon or Cafe. And
Okay.
Cafe is a very high priority map for Cowana, but they lost it last time they played it, so I can see why they've not gone there. Villa is about a 4th or 5th priority map for both teams. So they've got a very similar map pool that once they ban out the kind of each other's top 3 maps, they end up on about the 4th or 5th map, which is Villa.
Yeah, look, I will say I didn't have this written down anywhere in my predictions whatsoever. I also can't give you recent history on this map for either of the teams outside of Gaming Without Borders, which doesn't count at this point. That's a charity event for those who don't know. So at this point, it's a free-for-all, this map. Show us what you got. Put the stats on the board for the past 2 months.
Show us what Vitality in Bootcamp can do, and if Cowana can face up against that beast that we all know so well. It's Cowana Vitality. We're in Tuscany. It's Villa. We've got Des and Ace to take us through it. Enjoy.
We were so late on our first one. I thought we were going to miss the start of the show, but we got there in the end. We've had a good lie down, Ace. We've had a good rest after that coastline fiasco.
Needed it.
Now we're ready to go all over it again. Vitality versus Cowana. Now, there is a little bit of fun on the line for us today, even if this game isn't as tight as that one earlier on. I've gone Cowana. You've gone Vitality. In fact, everyone has gone Vitality, except me.
It's just Vitality at boot camp. We've seen them do it before. They just come out and they always play so well when they're all together.
And then you separate them and it's like the...
To be fair, I think I've been wrong on every single Vitality prediction so far this stage, so...
Forgive me if I'm not really filled with hope or belief in you, Ace.
You're probably pretty safe if you've gone opposite to me.
I heard we had a little chat from our observer, by the way, who heard what the rallying cry was today.
Go for it.
Something along the lines of... Say it again to me, Easy. I want to make sure I get it right. I'll wait for him to repeat it to me, and then when he does, I can say it out loud again. Today we play Vitality, let's ruin their mentality.
There you go.
I love it.
Straight into the mental. Straight into the operator bands as Thatcher and Ace scores. Not too often that we see Ace.
Sorry, mate. I'm unplugging your headset right now. You're done. Goodbye. Ace has been jacked out. Ace is officially banned from the game. Not allowed a part of this cast. He can just stand there and take some notes. Like a good little PA for me, Ace, can't you? Oh, I thought that you couldn't say anything back, could you? That's a shame. The rest of them coming in, Thatcher and Valkyrie, very standard bands that we're very used to seeing. Mira maybe to follow. Indeed she will. It's almost like we see these bands almost every single map, Ace. I knew I'd get you. You're not turned on. That was the free.
You really haven't thought this. I was going to say you really haven't thought this through, have you? With having to just go on and on and on. But you would love that, wouldn't you?
I can rabbit on, mate.
Just going on and on and on.
Milos is trying to talk.
Listening to yourself, it'd be the ideal.
Blah blah.
Ideal evening for you, but I'm not going to allow that to happen because what we're going to do instead, we're going to enjoy this Villa game between Vitality and Cowana. We're going to start and finish this game and this night as well as it has gone all the way through. And boy, have we had some excitement tonight. Vitality versus Cowana. We're just going to run a quick rehost. We'll have a little look at the players there. We've got Vitality in the boot camp. All of them there together. Such a nice facility.
I do love their chairs, by the way.
Yeah, it's all
like yellow,
just
like lining.
so nice.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Such a nice facility. All there together. We've got Helby, we've got Laloon, we've got all the staff there.
Is that Sully on P4's screen?
It certainly looks it. It's
like a baby
it's
Sully.
the correct fur, I think, yeah.
Has he got purple dots?
Pretty sure he does.
Sully Monster. I'm Googling it. At least Google isn't down like somewhere. Yeah, it is definitely Sully.
Yep.
Yeah, he's got the look. He's got the dots and everything.
I know, yeah. So, yeah, I think Villa's going to be a good map for these two. I think plenty of space. Get those roamers out there
they can
and
breathe,
active.
you know. It's,
That's it.
They can feel good about walking through the halls of
I want to see like Sloth go on, getting out there on the roam, making a nuisance of themselves, getting.
Oh no!
That's what I really want to see.
Gorg's been relegated to the back line now.
Really?
He's not one of the front boys anymore.
Well, of course,
it's
you've got Benja taking over, of course.
Basically, what's happened here is Gorg has enjoyed in space at the top of the roster for too long. It was him and Grizzly for pretty much most of the year. This new kid from the Nordics gets brought in, and officer goes, right, boys, we're welcoming a new player to the team. You know, really good gunner from the Nordics. I really hope you'll like him, and you take well to him and introduce him to the team fairly. And Gorg goes, cool, so he's playing support, yeah? Right?
So he's playing support, yeah?
He's playing support, yeah? It's the Star Wars meme,
officer,
right?
come on, he's playing support, yeah?
It's not so much that Gorg has been pushed all the way back into that, but he is playing his more passive flex roles in the team now, whereas it is Sloth and Benja being the ones that are getting out and getting a little bit Grizzly with it. Speaking of Grizzly, he's another player that you can look to who throughout the year it has been the Grizzly and the Gorgona show. Now, they're still very, very capable players, but so far this stage, it has been pretty quiet for Gorgona. Benja having a lights-out first game, if you remember. About 18 kills he dropped on bank or something ludicrous.
Yeah, he's really introduced himself with a bang to the EUL scene, hasn't he? He's been very, very impressive.
Oh, Gorgie's off.
And consistently so. He's been doing it week after week as well as Benja. He's been really coming and doing some numbers, and it's certainly been an impressive introduction for him.
We've got bad drops now as well, except for Benja. Screw the new kid. You've got to earn your backdrop, Ben.
Got to earn your backdrop. I think he's earned it in stage 3. I'm sure they'll be sorting him out sooner rather than later.
He's doing plenty fine. Plenty fine. We'll be back into game in just a moment. As you heard, there was a rehost that came through. So if you are just joining us, don't worry. You haven't missed much. You get missed much. Oh, my God.
Get it out now. Get it out
no.
now.
So on the coastline, it was words for you and numbers for me. Just let's not have you count any rounds or damage numbers or anything else, and we'll be fine.
It'll be absolutely golden. Absolutely golden.
I really want to see that new light scoreboard in the game. You seen it on Twitter, right?
Yeah, I saw it. It's very nice. I like the adjustments. It's very nice.
The one thing I always lose my rag over when we're here, like taking down notes, is just that we can't see through a scoreboard. So when the observers bring up the full screen scoreboard, and I'm like, please hide it. I can't see the middle 3 players. I don't know what operators they've picked. I can't see the
analyst desk love that scoreboard being brought up. So there's a real tug of war.
Whoever got a bribe to ruin Jess's day? That's the big question.
I mean, you do try most days, to be fair.
Succeed some of the days as well.
Just
me existing.
Just
apparently.
existing is
that's
apparently enough. I think
that's enough to send her near the edge.
That's probably fair. That's probably fair. She wakes up in the morning, she thinks, Des exists.
Day ruined already.
That's the day ruined.
What? Apparently, he said he gave the first round. What is he on about? I think he meant to talk to someone else. He's like, I gave the first round to Cowana, and I was like, what? And he's like, oh, sorry, wrong button. I think Easy just wanted to feel relevant and important.
I think that's maybe what it is.
Some understanding. He was messing with the admins, apparently. So he messes with the admins, we mess around with Jess and wind her up, and here we are.
Well, there's not going to be much messing about for much longer, Des, as I hear the noises of the game in my ears.
I was just to break out a podcast talking about my water bottle.
We always just like to make sure everybody's loaded in before we give you the picture back, but now that they are, and we know that everybody's fine, we will. We don't want to, give you any sort of false hope that we're back in and then we have to come back out again if there is any sort of problem. But we are in, we are sorted, we are going to head to round 1 of what I think could be a real banger, Des, between Vitality and Cowana. I want to see the best performance out of these two teams that they've shown us through the stages, and honestly, I'm already touting this one to go the distance. At least 12 rounds. It could be a bit of a classic.
I mean, look in the top right corner of your screen as well. 4th place and 6th place. Vitality are just inside of that top 4. And as we've spoken about a few times already tonight, the gap between, I think, 3rd place all the way down to like 8th now, because G2 with their win earlier on have kind of really done themselves a favour of moving forwards. It's only going to spice things up further and further. And as always, don't worry, they don't have 8 frag grenades and 9 flashes on the side of Cowana. That is 6 and 6, I believe. So 6 frags on side. Well, we've seen the damage that they could do earlier on. Keep a very close eye on that. It's our man Jesse from over in North America.
Love Jesse. We do. We love Jesse.
He's such a cute guy. He can teach me anything when he gets that ruler out. Oh.
I'll bet. Absolutely. I bet he can teach many people many things when he gets the ruler out. And he's just pointing out there that BDS have got themselves locked in.
They have indeed. I mean, it even came down to a knife out of Shaiko at the very end of the game, if you remember that.
I don't think Shaiko even knew what happened there.
I tell you what, I think Jess pointed out, Shaiko's not normally a very animated person, but in that moment, he was just like, his brain was falling out his ears. That's how crazy that situation was.
I think he even knew himself how he managed that one. We do often wonder how he manages many of these things. He's unbelievable.
A god amongst men.
A god amongst men, unbelievable in the server, but the knife baffled him a little bit. Now then, we're going to have some immediate pressure onto the bottom floor. Benja and Sloth working in as a duo. Information being fed with drones ahead of them. Benja just opening up those angles with the sledge, just looking to pressure onto main stairs immediately. Nice long angle just being opened up there so he can look to make the challenge, which he will do immediately. Bibu taking a little bit of chip damage, I think, there from somewhere. He's not playing on the main stairs, but he's picked up a shot from somewhere.
They really need to get rid of that mute drone. If that disappears, then they can really start the assault onto these stairs. But without that, they're kind of a little bit stuck. And I think that's what they're trying to look for. If they can weave one up, then potentially get reared. But it's a little bit of a stretch, I think, and still looking to challenge onto the stairs. P4 losing a bit of his HP, but not enough to find himself down or forced away too far. There's still 2 of them holding up, and the vertical angle here is a deadly one. That nade from Gorgona, we've seen so many nade kills today, and they just don't stop. We mentioned the 6 frags on side. There's 2 remaining, 1 in the hands of Sloth here before he lets rip, and let rip he will. Doesn't find anyone, but from the window, not paying attention there. Sadly, Cactus finds himself picked off. Sloth another before Bibu finally gets the first one back in the round, but this has been a slaughter from the Cowana team on the attacking round here. Rise, the last one left standing. He's got the right idea, but who peaks first? The drone sees him, steps himself back away inside a vault to hunker down for what is going to be one hell of a nuclear winter. In comes Cowana, gets the down onto Benja. Uncharacteristically, you might say, one more from Study Door. The drones are on, and they're being pressured from 2 or 3 different sides. It's not looking pretty for Rise, even if there are 50 seconds left. Grizzly picks up the kill, and Cowana with a very comfortable first round.
Great start for Cowana. I love what I'm seeing. Getting in there aggressively, dealing with main stairs, dealing with basically everybody. Push Study, pushed underneath, nade kills. There was a little bit of everything coming in from Cowana there, and what a great bit of momentum they've just got themselves. Vitality, they're going to move site immediately. Second round, they're going to take us to Trophy Statuary. They do not fancy going back to Aviator games again. Rise, to be fair, got a very nice shot onto the man behind bar before he was ultimately dispatched out of the vault. It was always going to be a tough fight for him, and Cowana just nice and patient, waiting for their opportunity, and shut the man down.
All right, Trophy and Statuary it is going to be. So no attempted repeat of the same site. Just thinking, okay, let's get the hell out of Dodge and back away from this one. And finally, we've got to give some credit to our friend Jackers here, mate. The salvation stations are online. The Thunderbird has been brought along. I thought we might see that coming out of Cowana. We know how they've really enjoyed playing it on maps like Clubhouse, but here it potentially could echo across onto this map, given Cactus is playing it for Vitality in the first half. Of course, we'll keep a close eye on that. The Electric Claw going in from below. They need to hold this, is what my only worry is, because we've seen in the last round how much Cowana enjoyed attacking from below with their myriad of frag grenades on side. If they want to keep that alive, they need to be protecting it.
Certainly do. You're just having a skin. I was gonna do exactly the same thing. We've got the skins popping up at the bottom there. Vitality, of course, with their wonderful Ash set.
Oh, I missed the Kavira, by the way.
Cowana with their new buck skin, and there's some absolute beauties been added to the share scheme. So make sure you go and check them out if you haven't already. Now then, there's P4 in the basement with Kavira. That could be a serious rat play as the round goes on. We'll see. I mean, you and I both would love to see that interrogation. It's always the excitement when the Kavira is on the board. It's not too often that we get it picked out, but I can understand the purpose here on Villa. Very big map, very good for roamers, and if that basement isn't drawn out properly, they might have absolutely no idea that she's on the board, and part of that job is going to have come down to the men on the middle floor, keeping the drones out and getting them shot down.
Going to need the patience of a saint to hold down here as well. Depends, of course, if those drones are committed on the downstairs. But if he does get spotted out by one, it's a simple job to disappear back into the abyss that is known as basement. I think we've joked about this a few times. No one knows any call-outs down there because no one ever really plays down there. P4 is on the move. Sees the man. He's got a shotgun out. Forget about trying... I was quietly hoping...
At this level of play, you've got to be very careful with it, because
that's the problem.
As soon as that call goes that I'm being interrogated, somebody's going to rush those stairs. They're not worried about saving Sloth. They'll kill him as well just to stop the interrogation, because the information that it gives out is so critical. It can be absolutely round-ending at times. So you've got to be careful. You've got to pick your moment, and P4 knew that wasn't it, so took the more important kill instead. Gets them off to a good start, and Benja starts looking to try and pressure directly on site along with Cowana. But the problem here is Cowana have no control of the underneath.
I am very kind of surprised in a way. For weeks, Benja has had the sledge banned away against him. Here it is available, so naturally he's going straight back onto one of his favourite operators. Now he comes singing through and does remove away from the wall side the Electro Claw, but no one's currently there to open things up. In fact, to lie, it's a Narkic. Rise with one. C4 comes out. Could it be a double? No, C4 gets shut out, and yes, he gets res back up by the Finker. That's big. Grizzly down, and now Gorgona's back there along with Benja to find a kill. Finally gets himself shut down. The 4 versus 2 Vitality. Another C4 singing on through, but not connecting onto anyone. Gorg and the Narkic, all this work to do. Gorg, quiet as we've mentioned so far this stage. This is his time to make a big impact. He's already 3-0. Out comes that roaring shotgun once more. Anarchic gets down to fight the flash coming through. Res back up. Almost could have gone away with it, but the flash wore off. Now Gorgona has got it all to do. Is he a Gorgona or a Gorgona? Finds one for himself. Master waiting for the swing to come through. He's got 15 seconds to play with Ace. He's got to make it happen right here and right now, or this round is done and dusted. They've got the long angle. Misses his head ever so slightly. The one closer. Gets on the triple. Could it be the Ace? No, it can't. It's just a 3 in the round. Vitality bounce things back and even us up at 1 apiece.
Better round from Vitality there, able to really get the divot dividends out of that opening kill onto Sloth. P4 just disappearing away into the map, able to come back at a later point and deal with an Arctic trying to push through into Bathroom, and Vitality controlling the map extremely well there. I commented on it in the mid-round. Cowana just unable to get any real map control. They didn't play into the downstairs roam. It allowed Vitality just to move back up and continue challenging them from Astro and from the site itself. They won all their gunfights on the long range, and it was great play from them to level us up 1-0. And honestly, in those first 2 rounds, there's Cowana dominant round 1, Vitality dominant round 2. We're in for the long haul here. I'm already calling it. This is gonna be close.
An early time to call it, don't you think, Ace?
Well, I called it 2 rounds ago. I said it before we even started. I think we go the distance here. I think it'll be 12 rounds before anybody's a winner.
Another one?
I think 7-5 is probably the best we're going to get for a win here.
We've already had 15 rounds in the third game of the day.
I'm not going that far yet, but I'm just saying I think between these 2 teams, whoever wins it is going to win it by that 1 round. It's not going to be a 7-2 landslide victory. I think it's going to be very, very close.
Time will tell. This round, a bit of a change coming in for the Aviator Games attack coming out of the side of Cowana. They have dropped away the Flores that Grizzly was bringing along formerly, and now instead has taken the form of a Twitch. And I've spoken endlessly about my love for Twitch since her changes thing. She is incredibly powerful right now, which is why you're starting to see that pick rate creep up. Of course, now has 3 drones. Her 2 shock drones can jump. They have unlimited arc of shot range, which is my favorite thing. You haven't got to kind of edge yourself backwards from a cam to shoot it out, for example. Does have unlimited range on it. It's an instant hit scan piece too. It's beautiful. Not that it wasn't before, but at least now it actually feels like you're shooting a laser and not some piddly bit of string at some object or another. And of course, that wildcard skin buff. Oh, what can I say?
I knew that was going to come up. I know
the most important thing is
I know that it's one of your favourites, and look at that Grizzly absolutely getting away with one on the first piece of utility. Can't take out either of the ADSs on the stairs, though. He's maybe going to go and have another look. He's just making sure that everything's clear and gives his drone away. That's not ideal. With the power of those drones, Rise just popping up from the basement, gets his kill and pops back down. That's going to be Sloth taking the opening death once again. Rise on an absolute fraction of health right now, and without a Doc or a Thunderbird on side, he's going to be like that for the remainder of the round.
It's in Piano Door as well. I think Sloth, that's twice he's died to Red as well. I mean, the last round you'd probably argue he couldn't really do too much about unless they drone the entirety of basement, and most teams simply don't have time for that. It's why things like Nomad can be so popular on this map, is there is so much to clear that sometimes blocking off a stairway rather than worrying about droning the entirety of the floor below you is the way to go. So far, Cowana foregoing that pick, and Sloth has now been stung twice, once by P4 and once by Rise. So maybe an adaptation that you'll see coming in future rounds. You might see Grizzly step away from it, for example, but I think that Twitch is insurance in case the Kai makes an appearance again, as it did in round 2.
Vertical nades there, not really going to have any joy, maybe dealing with some utility, but not finding any men. P4 still locked in on those main stairs. He's got his ADSs, he's got his mute jammer, he's going to be difficult to clear, looks to take the challenge, but they're like passing ships in the night, just missing each other. Out comes one of those toxic babe canisters. Still 2 left in the pocket for Shinka, but just looking to slow down any potential push onto the main stairs. 50 seconds left to go here, and Cowana just struggling to get inside a little bit. They were much more commanding last time around. Rise a second, a third. He's unstoppable right now. Benja finds a kill. Shinka onto Gorgona, and it's falling apart. Rise down but not out. Looks like he's going to be collected back onto 20 health. And Benja, he's got it all to do here. 1 versus 4, 30 seconds to make a miracle.
And a miracle he will have to make. One tucked into the left. Don't know if he knows about the man. He's looked away. Surely he knew the crossfire came through. Will find one for himself. Oh, almost finds the second, but Cactus with the shutdown. A much better defense than what we saw in round 1 coming out of Vitality, and it feels like they're starting to get into the swing of things now, Ace.
Cowana just nowhere near as dominant on the entry into the building this time. Round 1, we saw them get in there, clear out main stairs, clear out top landing. Study was theirs, and they were just able to really press the issue and push forward onto Vitality, whereas this time that defense really held firm. They couldn't get the main stairs, which prevented them getting into Study. As they tried to do it, Grizzly just gunned gunned down from inside of sight, and Vitality were much more stalwart this time around and much more difficult to move. Cowana need to think and concentrate on getting that map control. Round 2, no map control. They struggled. Round 3, not able to get inside of the map and really dominate that area, that south side that they wanted to. So here, I want to see Cowana get into that top floor, Des, shift any roamers that are up there, start working those vertical angles. They've got Benja on the sledge. That's what they need to be doing, and then moving these defenders round inside of sight.
Thunderbird making an appearance once again. And we've seen a couple of times Oryx today, actually. We saw it being picked up between G2 and Rogue on Coastline. Virtue rocking that for a couple of rounds, I believe, back then. And of course, the one nice added benefit that you get when you have a Thunderbird on side is that HP that you lose charging through walls can be very easily regained, which is exactly what he has done. Knocked his way through a wall, got himself juiced back up, and now can get himself back out on the roam once again, although still being a good soldier here and not charging through a wall, but instead opting to pistol it open instead. Slightly smaller rotation being opened up onto that north wall looking into Astro. Once again, though, I imagine you're going to see some below pressure coming in from the side of Cowana if there is going to be any roamers on the south side of the map upstairs. We've seen it time and time again. And Sloth has really made a home for himself inside of Arch Studio. It's here and Piano where he's starting all of his attacks. But the one thing he's always getting stung by Ace is red. So I'm glad that at least this time round there is a drone going in ahead of him.
Nade's going to come out just to clear anybody who's up at the top. Cactus dips his way back out of there, but he's not going to dip back far enough, Des. He's going to get shut down by a Sloth, who instead of the entry death this time is the opening killer, slaying the man. Now then, he doesn't know that there's somebody just hiding in the corner there. P4, one of these little players, he's going to drop the hatch and make the challenge underneath. What an absolute beauty of a headshot onto Benja, and that is a big kill, Des. That's the sledge gone, and he could have been a potential linchpin of the attack, being able to open up those soft surfaces on the top floor, but that's not going to be the case now. So if Benja as the sledge, if it was recognised that that was the kill from P4, that might just change the strategy here for Vitality, and they might be a bit more willing to just drop back and play it on site.
I mean, the big thing to look at here really is those Rotero drones coming out of the forest. You want those on the top floor, really. Yep. They don't open huge holes, but they are still quite sizable, and you can play around them. 3 of those on side. It's not quite a full substitute for a sledge, but at the very least it should help them do a little bit of work. Working their way here through Living and Library, pushing their way up more laterally than looking to go vertically by the looks of it. Grizzly starting to get those Roteros charging in. What can he find here? Oh, juicy, juicy. Thank you very much. There might just be a Thunderbird station waiting for me, but instead has to root down as P4 has spotted him out. Nothing destroyed or removed by that first drone. No,
that was it. It was basically anchor down or lose the drone, so he sort of hoped that something might be in range, but it was not. Needs to just try and improve the accuracy and get it a little bit deeper into sight in future. We've got one opening up an angle into Memorial there, so that's just going to help to try and force the defenders deeper onto sight when the time comes. We often see a lot of defenders just bunkering down inside of Memorial to look for that potential retake, but Bibu, he's just going to hold that angle now and try to cut off any rotations, but unlikely to find any. Now Rise is going to take a lot of damage there, but not enough to finish him off. Still 4 versus 4, 30 seconds left here, and Cowana just stalling out a little bit.
We've got 2 juices left as well on the Finker that can be exploited and made use of here. We spoke about this earlier, though. It does ruin the recoil that comes through on that gun sometimes. Doesn't ruin Bibu finding 2 kills, though. Caught out on his retreat back into sight by Anarchic. 2 versus 3 now, and Gorg and Anarchic again find themselves in a numbers disadvantage and have got a lot of work to do. The pushing comes through. Anarchic, look left, buddy. There's one there. Wins the fight against Shinka, but one more gets taken out. He's the last man left alive. There's one down low. Finds a triple in the round. I don't think I've said that ever about Anarchic before in my life. Now he's going to try and stick the plant, but P4 has got the clock on his side. This should be an easy closeout. And sure enough, punches the man in the face, one punch man style, and wins the round.
Nice cool finish from P4 there, knowing that the clock was on his side, and Arkic having no choice but to stick on that defuse. A great attempt from him, though, you have to say that. As you said yourself, there's 3 kills coming in there, and there was some serious flicks onto men getting those kills as well. I thought he was going to lose that first fight, to be honest. He was getting shot in the flanks, but managed to wheel around and just absolutely destroy the man inside of sight. It's gone a little bit south so far for Cowana. We would sort of expect it, Vitality, to have good defences, but they are 3-1 up now, and Cowana take the choice to have that tactical timeout.
Yeah, the rounds have looked relatively comfortable so far. And even that last one coming down to just one man being alive in P4 really was off the back of a very scrappy late round play coming out for Vitality, enabling an Arctic to get a 3K, who was mentioned earlier on, not normally the kind of guy you attribute to getting a lot of kills. But in that round, it looked a little bit scary for a second if you were on the side of Vitality. And outside of the round one kind of burst coming through from Cowana, it has been all Vitality. Cowana just struggling to, I think, hit the stride they had in round one. The pace has got a hell of a lot slower. They're being hit by these roamers coming through. And I mentioned the Nomad earlier on. I'm wondering if we'll see that change come through because these players in basement have been hounding them constantly every single round.
Going to be heading back up to the top floor now, and Vitality will be taking us to Trophy and Statuary. It was their first win on a defensive site back in round 2, and it was the round, if you remember, where Cowana just didn't deal with the mid floor. They've been very much wanting to play this sort of laterally, as you've said, going in there, not really thinking about the verticals, not wanting to use them, not wanting to clear them out, just looking to go route one direct to site. We'll see if that changes for Cowana this time around, because they were hurt from that Caveira with the opening kill, and they need to make sure that they're just aware of what's going on underneath them.
I honestly think the best play out of Cowana so far is, and it's easy to say because it was the round they won, but back in round 1, they sat into a spot where they were playing from below with frag grenades, and look at the work they got done. The clearing out of main stairs, the pressure coming in from study side. It worked well when they had that control, and I think, to be fair, it's a good lean towards Vitality for adapting to that and saying, right, let's stick some players of our own on the road. Let's not give Cowana the comfort to go for an execute. That is the best way that we can win the round. Got to touch, of course, on the fact that there are 4 C4s on board. I think it says 5 at the top of your screen, but that is a lie. There's barbed wire on the Jaeger, so it will be 4 available to them. Very explosive outcome, but the same can be said for the other side. 6 frag grenades on side, as we've seen so far across the entire game.
Well, this is it. The important factor with those nitros is, as I picked up, Cowana didn't play into the mid-floor last time. They didn't get in there to ground floor and clear them out. So with 4 nitros on side, that could be seriously deadly if they allow the Vitality players to rotate and to maintain that control underneath. It could be a major problem for them. I like to see Sloth and Benja going in there. There's drones ahead of them. Get them cleared out. Force Cactus and Bibu back to site. Bibu goes scurrying up the red stairs and exactly back into site. And we've got Cactus moving more towards Astro. He might try to maintain his position downstairs, given that he has a C4 in hand. But at least for the time being, Cowana have made more of an effort to clear that out. Benja, great opening kill on to P4. And a second beauty of a flick onto the head of Rise. And this one's going all in Cavana's direction once again, Des. It looks like round 1 all over. Cowana seem to be all or nothing today, and right now it's 5 versus 2.
They were so keen on the side of Vitality there to play that roam aggressively. 2 of them hovering around study, 1 inside of library. They were just saying, no, we're here to fight, we're standing our ground, we're not backing away. I felt after you've got rid of a couple of drones and, you know, put Cowana down to 4 drones is all they've got left alive here. You could have said, okay, cool, we've wasted time, we've wasted a bit of utility, let's get out of dodge and double back to site, but they stuck it and they've paid the price for that so far. I like the idea, but not quite got the resilience to back away at the right time, and I was going to commend them for that in the previous round so far. Plants going down here, as you say, with 2 left alive, both up towards the north side, going and finding another. There's 1 man left alive, a C4 coming over the top, and he's playing around the smoke. Should be an easy close out here, but Shinka finds himself a second with the TCSG. Sloth sticking this plant down. It should complete off here now. He's going to have to hold the angle. That's all too easy. Benja with a 3K in the round. And finally, Cowana break the bank and get another round on the board.
Cactus is looking like he was being absolutely run ragged inside a site there in the 5 versus 2. Just back and forth, dodging explosives, trying to do anything he could to impact on the round. But Cowana, they had it pretty much locked down as they should at that situation. They were able to get that diffuser down, or at least very close to, and then able to find that final kill once Shinka tried to do something about it. We're going to be heading back to Trophy and Statuary once again. Cowana, I'm sure, are going to look to rinse and repeat that. It was nice aggression into the ground floor, forced those roamers back up to site, then took a big sort of team fight almost up at the top of red stairs, just bodies dropping everywhere, but they were all on the side of Vitality.
I get the idea from Vitality again, you know, get out on the roam, waste time, look to slow Cowana down, and it's worked for them a few rounds in a row. But when I think you stand your ground and try to fight against Cowana, they will roll you over. Anarchic, hot droning in, Benja and Sloth pushing in, playing for the retrades, Angle going to offer a side angle. There's 4 players there, all committed to clearing out 1 or maybe 2 roamers isolated by themselves. There's a fairly good chance that Cowana are just going to run you over as they did in the round. So I think what I want to see from Vitality is similar to what we saw before. Get yourself off on the roam, get down in the basement, try and catch these guys out when they don't drone you particularly well, because a curse for Cowana this stage has been their drone play. Look back at the game on Bank against Empire. The number of times that Dan would just spring out of elevator and catch an unsuspecting attacker was unbelievable. So I feel that's the one area of the game that I wanted to see improved, and I feel like Vitality can really capitalise on that if they play this right.
Looks like Benja's going to be heading into main stairs again, as he did last time around, straight in and looked to push. It was Cactus who was roaming on this side of the map, with I think it was Bibu out on the other, on the Jaeger, but they very quickly gave up that ground once Benja had moved in with Sloth in tow. Now, a little bit slower this time, but look at that work from Grizzly, going straight in there, one after another, getting the ADS, getting the corner station, great clearance and great use of that Twitch drum.
I love it, yeah. I mean, no wildcard skin, so he already loses 10 points immediately. But he's doing the work at least with these. It's very kind of suicidal play style with the drones. If they're not looking to conserve them, just get in sight, razz your way through, destroy any vital utility that you can see, whether it's those Kona stations, whether it's the ADSs, whatever is going to make this team's life easier. And what I like is that he did focus on ADSs, because look at, again, the number of nades they've got on side. They've had 6 in every single attacking round so far. What's the best way to make that an easier life for you? Destroy as many ADSs as you can.
I think it's worth giving a quick clarification that you mean driving quickly, Des, when you say razzing around.
Is that another term we've got to clarify?
I think it could be.
Razzing it around the corner, yeah. Like a street racer.
Sort of driving erratically, yeah.
Yeah, driving erratically. No, razzing it sounds
just
way
razzing
better.
it.
Just razz it round, go on.
Sloth just holding to the red stairs for the time being. Cowana again, they've got the 5 men alive. They've not been able to track down any of the Vitality players yet, but they have forced them back to site, particularly importantly, because once again, 3 nitros on the side of Vitality, so plenty of vertical destruction possible for them and vertical denial of any potential plants. Go in and clear off the all-important electrical. So now Anarchic will have the opportunity on the Hibana to get that master wall open, and things could start changing. Not in position at the minute, though. I'm not sure if that's...
He was watching red because he didn't want to get flanked down red hallway. So he's playing the right thing. He's being supportive. Fair play to him. I mean, it's Rise who's found himself down early on from an aid from below and an easy clock. Not sure that was intended, Bibu. You've just basically finished your man off and also got into a spot where Ben just then picked up Bibu. So, yeah. Good way to lose the round, I suppose.
I mean, it's probably not the best passage of 5 seconds that he's ever had, but I'm sure that there was a reason for it. Shinka's looking to hold the angle onto the main door of Statuary there. There's going to be a couple pushing. He doesn't manage to get it. He does down 1, but the trade comes in immediately as Sloth finds the kill. Grizzly gets his man. P4 gets both, however, as they are stood just waiting by the door, but it's a Narkic from the window to finish things off, and Cowana level us up at 3-3 at the half. You remember what I said at the beginning, Des?
Yep. And it feels like it's going to end up going that way as well if this carries on. Mr. Fortune Teller. The problem is, though, you need to give your head a shave so I can do the whole, like, crystal ball trick again.
It's as if I've watched thousands of hours of Siege.
It's a little bit clouded now.
It's as if I've watched a lot of it.
That doesn't guarantee it's going 3-3.
I didn't ever said it was 3-3. I said it was going to go to 12 rounds. That's what I said.
We're at 3-3, all right. Calm down. We'll see. Depends how the defences go for Cowana, of course. Now, the one thing about that round I do want to say again is that it felt like the vertical play coming out of Cowana, it's almost like magic, like we saw in round 1. Playing nades from below is the way to go. They got the down, of course, onto Rise, and then...
Got yourself a little mantra there.
What?
Playing nades from below is the way to go. You could be a coach, Des. No, you couldn't.
In the same way... Today we play Vitality, let's break their mentality.
Exactly that.
That's what he said.
You're a poet. You
just giving me a funny look. I didn't say that. That was what I imagine Officer said. Gas the boys up. Get them pep for the game.
Round 7 then, we head into the second half of things here. Vitality going to move from the defence onto the attack. It's going to be Aviator Games is the first site that Cowana will try to hold down. If we remember round 1, the first attempt that Vitality made at this, Cowana just ran all over them. We'll see if Vitality can return the favour and get in here aggressively. It was the south side of control particularly that Cowana coveted, and Vitality, I'm sure, will be looking for similar, although they've spawned on the north side, so they might be looking for that Astro push.
they'll look in towards topside and maybe work their way down, and by the same token also then look to push down 90, and you tried towards Vault, but unfortunately the jammer is inside of Games Room. We saw that employed a couple of weeks ago here in EUL. So you haven't been watching with us, there's a new one for you today. You can put it just inside of the Vault doorway, and it will of course electrify the single wall that leads onto 90. Does look to be that north side push, as you mentioned, with P4 currently lurking below, but it's Gorgona to draw first blood, bring down Bibu.
If Vitality want to get anything out of this, they've got to start winning those gunfights. We're seeing that too often. Entry kills coming in for Cowana, and big fights always going in their favour. 2 or 3 kills back to back, bang, bang, bang. And that's something that Vitality need to slow down. They need to start finding those kills and really getting themselves a little bit more competitive in there. Gorgona, Benja, 15 kills between the pair of them. They're starting to run the show right now, Des. They run in the pockets of Vitality.
Surprising almost no one as well. It's worth mentioning in the first 4 rounds, Sloth was involved in every single entry engagement, going 2 and 2. So outside of those entry kills that he's found, 2 kills have been collected in other rounds. And this is the beauty about the depth of this Cowana side. One statement that so often I've said about BDS, for example, is for my money, one of the best sum totals of individual player skills of any team across the world. And I've started saying Cowana, for me, aren't miles behind. You know, Anarchit normally pretty quiet when it comes to gun skill, but for the rest of them, they can absolutely pop off on the right day. And today, it's Gorgona and the Benja show, at least how it looks so far. P4 now looking to work his way in from the south side, often as you see Iana's doing, being the solo push player, just to give you an extra angle of ingress to apply more pressure to the defenders, so it's not a case of watching a single doorway and spraying through when players show their heads. If he can find himself one here being a little bit lax on the rotates, for example, this could spell disaster for the side of Cowana.
Benja still playing underneath in piano there, and he's going to have Nitro in hand, looking for that potential vertical denial. I'm not sure how much attention Vitality are paying to that right now. He seems to be being left largely alone. The drone there is going to see him and give the information, and that was a Benja. I'll tell you what, Benja will be ruining that fight. He will know it was there to be won. Look at how low P4 is, and then the damage he does, Des, managing to down Gorgona. Kaid in the vault is not going to be fighting us, though. Sloth manages to get in and pick him back up to 20 health. That could be a big play. 4 versus 4, 25 seconds left to go, and Vitality need to think about getting themselves inside here. We've got a Toxic Babe canister out. There's 1 left. So Anarchit can burn about another 10 seconds or so of this round. Out it goes, and there it is, into position. They push in, however. Shinka, diffuser in hand, goes through that smoke, manages to get the kill into Vault, and is in a position next to the bomb chassis to get the diffuser down. Cowana, they've got to do something. They're starting to just throw themselves into the breach here, Des. It's 2 versus 2 as gunfights are won on either side. Grizzly gets Shinka. It's 1v2. Cactus, low health, shut down. Cowana with a successful retake. Managed to claim their first defensive round in Aviator Games, and boy, was it a close one.
Beautiful start for Cowana in this half as well. 3 rounds on the bounce they step up to now. For Vitality maybe feeling a little bit nervous. I can imagine if another round goes against them, you'll see that tactical timeout coming. They'll want the conversation because things will not be going their way. In fact, as I say it, it's not the next round. They're having it right now after 1 round, as clearly the momentum is flying against them. You've got these players on Cowana. Sloth in that round with a 3K. We were speaking about Benja, Gorgona. Well, now Sloth has put himself up there also on 7 kills, and they can be so hard to slow down.
Interestingly, Des, the tactical timeout from Cowana came in after round 4, between round 4 and 5. Cowana have won every single round since that tactical timeout. They've won those 3 rounds. We've now got the tactical timeout for Vitality. Can they emulate that sort of turnaround?
This is the thing, right? Cowana won round 1, 3 rounds to Vitality, timeout, 3 rounds to Cowana, timeout. So I'm with you on that one. It could be the big turnaround. I'm hoping so, because we do want us a nice close game. And it's not that it isn't close. It's 4 and 3. It couldn't really be much closer unless it was 4-4 or 3-3. I mean, look at it that way. So for my money, still a relatively close game. That one did come down to a bit of a last-second slow execute for Vitality, maybe a little bit uncharacteristic, you might wager. And you've mentioned everyone here predicting Vitality, except for me, of course, because big brain sometimes. Sometimes. You guys are all saying when these guys are together at boot camp, they play like a different team, and we saw that at the back end of last stage, ahead of Mexico, if you could recall. It's somewhat a questionable call that we all asked, you know. Last game of the season, you win it, you're against... Who was it they're against? I want to say it was Old Heroic. Was it Train Hard at the time? It was a team that they should have beat.
They just got home and
they all went home and
it went
they
to
got
bits.
absolutely smacked to crap.
They got rolled.
It was a big question mark as to why. That would have guaranteed them the major, the first one that they've been to in so long. Yet it just didn't come to fruition. And I'm hoping that we still see that Vitality, the one that for all of last stage looks certain to make top 4.
I'd love to see this roster and organisation get there. Like you say, they've been so close so many times. I genuinely would like to see them make it to that November major. But it's games like this, Des, that they're going to have to win, because it's teams like Cowana that are going to be competing for those spots. You can say that BDS are pretty much going to make it. BDS top of the table, they've not lost yet, they're pretty much going to be there, so that leaves 3 spots open. You can make an argument for a G2 comeback into it. You've got Na'Vi still in and around, you've got Empire who will fight, you've got Virtus Pro who are putting points on the board, you've got Cowana, you've got Vitality, you've got potentially 5 teams, Rogue, 6 teams fighting after those potential 3 spots. So Vitality have to be winning the games against those teams.
It's going to be a little bit of a rush coming in here. Bibu's going charging his way straight in, looks at the window but doesn't quite land the shot as well.
Very unlucky.
Cowana seeing him first, and now they know that a rush is on the cards, but it's been Iana, it's been the Ashe moving in together. Beautiful nade onto Grizzly on the Astro stairs. Will remove a little bit of pressure, but there is still one. I believe it's an R-kick sat behind a shield waiting, and Benja taking the spot of the now deceased player. And you saw the Twitch drone come in as well, I think looking out for the ADSs, so much so that Anarchic is aware that he can't hold this spot forever, spoken it out to give him a little bit more time, but you've still got Rise hanging on the window.
Third Toxic Babe canister is going to be used, and that is early in the round for all that utility to be expended, but showing that it can be used for more than diffuser denial, as it can be used to shut down a lane, to shut down an attack, a rush, and Benja shuts down P4 with a headshot. We can see there the ex-Kairos pellets just being blown off the wall as Cowana continue to dig their heels in and fight for round 8. They want to get that breathing space between them and Vitality. They know how vital these points are.
It's just one of those where if it had come off of Vitality, they found a couple of kills in Astro, very different conversation, but the iron wall that is Benja stands firm. 2 kills from the Astro stairs. He's now found himself and removed all the wind from the sails of this Vitality attack. They find themselves once again with quite a bit of time left, but a numbers disadvantage and a lot of the momentum of this round completely drained.
The thing is, he's just holding 2 players up, Des. You've got Rise on the Astro Rappel. Granted, he's looking in towards site as well, but you've got Cactus in bathroom watching stairs. Benja's not going anywhere. There's a minute left. He's a defender. He's not going anywhere. There's no way that he's going to peek bathroom door on Villa. It'd just be madness. He's dipped himself away and he's lived to fight another day. 2 versus 2 as we find ourselves now. Anarchic and Benja with it all to do. Shinka and Rise able to come through and put some pressure. Now they've got established inside the map, but he's got him. Anarchic with a shotgun. Rise not able to do enough damage to the legs. Surely Shinka finishes the man. 1v1. It's all up to Benja. 30 seconds left to go. He's going to try and force Shinka to play on the diffuser here. There's a bulletproof cam giving information.
Doesn't have to do too much here. Either hear the sound going down towards the north side, or we'll see everything down towards the other. But Shinka goes, haha, some information of my own. As out comes the 0 cam, and he can't quite get the side angle onto the bulletproof. It's still there. Must know that the man's nearby to go for the swing and to try and make the plant. He could have timed this one out a bit more. Comes off the plant. Oh, Benja hits it. A 3k in the round. 2 from Astro Stairs. 1 more in the dying end of it. And closes the round for Cowana. That's 3 on the bounce, and unfortunately for Vitality, the timeout buff not coming into effect.
Certainly did not, Cowana. I mean, they came through. It was a scrappier round. Vitality certainly made a round of it when they got those couple of kills towards the end. Brought it back to a 2v2, ultimately a 1v1. But Benja on the SMG is always going to be a tough fight to go up against because he finds his shots, and that is just what he does. He's been not transformational to the team necessarily. Cowana had a great stage 1, struggled a bit in stage 2, but Benja coming in has just really seemed to give them that pep that they needed in the gunfights.
Massively so, and I think when I first saw Benja get picked up, I was like, a little bit nervous about it as well. I mean, the rest of the team aren't really supportive players outside of an R-kick, and we've seen teams before assemble, a bunch of gunners and just say, is this going to work? Look at G2, for example, couldn't quite emulate former glory, with Pengu kind of picking up the slack as the would-be supportive player for that team in places. at least here they've still got an Arctic playing in that poor role, and the rest of the team are kind of surrounding him and making sure those plans can come together. It's something I did lament them for in the prior stage, was at points they really, really messed it up. Going for plants, being C4'd from below, longer angles not being covered. It wasn't pretty. Now, you spent more than 5 seconds pointing at one thing on the screen, so I feel like I should shut up and let you talk.
I was pointing at Grizzly because I think that he deserves a mention in this situation. As you say, Narkic is the supportive player, but I think the flexibility of somebody like Grizzly enables somebody like Benja to come in and fulfill that sort of role. Grizzly is there, he's doing the jobs, he's doing the work that the team needs, he's taking the Oryx, he's out on the roam, he's getting kills, he's not getting kills, he's filling in alternative support duties alongside an Narkic, and Sloth as well shows some of that flexibility. And so I think that back line for Cowana is facilitating Benja to do that.
Let's be real. For Sloth, I think he's still playing the...
He wants to get the kills.
I once coined... I forget where I coined him. I think it was in Nordic I coined him this first. I called him the Monkey King. And for some bizarre reason, he's now gone and got that like engraved into his AirPods. And I'm just like... I don't think you take it that far when I called it the one-time mate, because it emulates his play style. As I mentioned, the first 4 rounds, he was involved in every single entry engagement. He likes being the one right up in the heat of things in the early round and getting a bit chaotic, and sometimes it backfires. You'll see him going 2 and 10 in a map. But other days, like we say about Doki, he's just dropping 10+ kills a map, and it's like, man, how do you stop this guy? He's chaotic in the best of times, but whatever it is, the mixture looks a bit strange. You're not quite sure if the ingredients will produce a wonderful dish. But so far for Cowana, it's looking like the one that is going to get them into 3rd place and potentially a spot in the major.
This is it, and what I mean by that is it's just the willingness to do what is needed for the team to take those operators and to try and make them work. Now then, they've absolutely no idea that they've just completely gone past Sloth. He's got some great trigger discipline here, as he's just going to hold on for the time being. Shinka goes past as well. They like busters, Des. One doesn't come, it's always 2 at once, and Sloth, he's going to pop out here. He's going to try to catch this. Look at him. He's moving around. Just great trigger discipline once again. Not getting overexcited. He can't see Shinka. I don't know if he's just lost his opportunity.
Sloth, no. Look left. Bro, he's to the left. Just walk forward.
He's just going to wait. He just needs to play this out. He just needs to play this out. He just needs to wait.
W mouse one. Let's go. Come on, I get the patience point. He could be the round ender, to be fair.
He's just waiting for sound. He's just waiting for sound.
He's heard one go past.
He gets footsteps.
He knows. He sees the man. It's a freebie. Doesn't wait for the second, but does find the first one. Tries to push his way back to side. Finds the second. Oh, Bibu should be dead to rights, but he walks away at about 25 HP. We'll be in a spot here where he is bruised and battered and knows that this man's off on the flank like it never even mattered. He could come back and do untold damage, because now they've got 30 seconds on the clock and there's still someone holding down to the south. If he comes back up, that could be the round ender. It could be done and dusted, Ace. There's still 5 versus 4, and yet again, Vitality are leaving it all down to the dying seconds of a round.
Absolutely great play from Sloth. Love to see it. That alternative to just getting in there and taking aggressive fights.
There he is.
Comes back again, waits for his moment and pounces Des. Gets P4. Cactus shuts down an Arctic, but Grizzly straight on the trade. Sloth is down, but with 5 seconds left to go, Diffuser down cold on the ground. It's gonna be no go for Vitality as Cowana managed to get another round, take themselves onto 6, guarantee overtime as a minimum, and they have now 3 match point opportunities.
Oh boy. For Vitality, this is a grind back to the top. You want that top 4 spot so badly. You want to show the world that you deserve it. Now is the time. You need to find 3 back-to-back out of somewhere. And it's looking like it's going to be a real war. You thought in round 8, maybe they've got something going on with that rush before Benja slaughters them in the bathroom and gives them no hope. The last round, the undroned Sloth is the deadliest. Strikes out of Vault and shuts the round down before it even gets underway. Small things that are holding them up that are completely destroying rounds for the side of Vitality. And now we get to go back to Aviator Games where it all started in round 7. That's right. Cowana have won the trifecta of 3 defenses, and now all they've got to do is win round 10. They take the 3 points and they jump into 3rd place, knocking Vitality out of the top 4, at least for now.
Honestly, it is going to be one of the matches that we potentially look back on. If Vitality don't manage to make it to the major, you're going to be looking at the teams above them who did and saying, where did Vitality lose it? And losing out to Cowana for a full 3 points could be exactly that. They need to start finding rounds.
I've just looked at Vitality's next 3 games. They've got Na'Vi on the next Playday, a weakened Na'Vi, but you know they're going to bounce back.
Still, it's always a challenge, always a challenge.
The next day they've got Secret. Make of that what you will. They played all right against BD yesterday,
Push
not lights
BDS.
out, but they could surprise Vitality. And the final Playday could be the decider for top 4. It's against Rogue.
That's
you
gonna
just
be a tough
know
game.
that's going to be a top 4 game.
Tough game. That literally, you can already see it coming. It's already practically written that you're going to get there, and it's going to be between them to decide somebody go into the major, isn't it?
Whereas
It's gonna be
Cowanna's
one
run
of those
gets
games.
easier. They have BDS next Playday, tough match, probably not going to win it. You got Virtus Pro, who are looking better, but you would wager if you're a top 4 team, you can beat Virtus Pro. And the same could be said in the final Playday. They're against Heroic, a team that are done. They're out. That's it. They're playing for pride and glory more than anything else right now.
The final day,
the thing is, they could be the big surpriser. Think back to Penta in Challenger League Season 10, I want to say, when they lost their last 2 games against Sisu and found themselves not going through into EUL. It can happen all over again. You just don't know. And it's for a major rather than EUL, but it's still a big deal. Cowana really want to get to that major, as do Vitality.
Rise getting in and out with the Twitch drone there, getting the job done, taking out a Goyo shield, another utility along with it. It will lose it now, but a lot of the damage has been done, particularly with ADSs going. It's going to mean that those players at the top of main stairs can be challenged much easier. Sloth actually comes in. We see Grizzly signal for him to deliver that ADS, and he gets in there and gets it down on the ground. So once again, just supporting his teammates and helping Grizzly stay locked in that position. Now, my question here is Benja. He's in study for the time being. He's playing this aggressive on the south side, but there is potentially going to be an opportunity for him to drop underneath and work his way around. Cactus, however, will find an opener onto Sloth, and maybe this is the opening that Vitality need, Des.
Hopefully it is, yeah. Starting to work their way through. They really need to get rid of this jammer off this wall, mind you. Will get removed out there with the charging round coming through just around the back of the little briefcase that sits through the drone hole to block the line of sight. And that means Vault has now been opened up. So a good start for Vitality. However, we've been in this spot before. Things looked okay. They look peachy. They look rosy with 70 seconds still to play. And we all saw how things have worked out for them so far on their attacking rounds. It has not been pretty. And let's go Gona holding off from the doorway. 3 coming from the north side, 2 on the south. It's a good split for Vitality. This should be a time they can make it work.
I questioned what Benja was going to do, and that's what he's going to do. Gets in and wins a big gunfight, but shut down in a trade by Bibu. 3 versus 1 now, as Bibu finds another Grizzly, managing to hit Rise with the Nitro. 1 versus 2. Ooh. 1 versus 1. Surely not, Des. Not like this. 35 seconds, and Grizzly is fighting back hard. The diffuser is down. It's cold. Does he find his man? No, he sprays him down. Cactus takes damage. Him and Grizzly now both at about the same HP. Cactus able to go in and retrieve that diffuser. Starts to just bait it out, letting that sound trickle through to Grizzly, letting him know there's the potential for it to go down. He's going to get full white flashed, and Cactus is going to try to stick this. Grizzly, he pushes through. No! Killed on the rotate as Cactus comes off the diffuser. Manages to get his man, manages to win the 1v1, and manages to keep Vitality fighting.
Oh, so ready to start calling Grizzly. The time wizard there, because he was running that clock down from 35, 40 seconds in that 1 versus 1, and I honestly thought he was just going to mind game the hell out of Cactus and get the win. But no, they start the fight back, and that is the most important thing. That is Vitality's first round win in 5. It's been a long haul since they've seen victory flash up on their screen, but they've got to do a lot more than that to get it to flash up for the entire match. Overtime at least is a minimum, which means they can only walk away with a max of 2 points, and that involves getting 2 more rounds. And still, Cowana get 2 more bites at the cherry to make this work. Aviator Games going to be their site choice once again.
No more mistakes for Vitality. As you've said, it'll only be 1 round to push Cowana over into a full 3 points. Now then, Aviator Games again for Cowana. They'll probably feel it was doable, it was close, it came down to that very tight situation at the end. You feel on a different day, Benja could have won that round there, but Bibu, he stood firm, planted his feet and said, not today. Vitality are going to keep on fighting, and he managed to get 2 very important kills up there to keep them in it, and ultimately it was Cactus who won the round out, but Bibu had done an awful lot to keep them in it in the first place. Now then, are we going to see a north-sided push again coming in from Vitality? That was the push last time around largely. There wasn't too much attention onto the south side ultimately. We'll see just how they play it out, and this is a nasty angle from Sloth looking to catch anybody on the rappel. He's going to have to stay patient, but he's not going to get anything. P4's come up the other way.
If he rats this out, I would cry. They must know that someone's in there, and sure enough, Sloth wants to get out of dodge. Bit of spray coming through, wants to go and challenge the next attack. Running through bullets, and there's one on the more window. Dude, the man is like Neo. He's dodging every bullet coming his way at this point, but Tony thinks he smells a little bit. He's a Sloth after all. Lies down inside the bath, and if he baits this out, this could be magic. There is, of course, Cowana still holding inside of Astro. In come the drones. Nothing's going to... Oh, they know. Oh, going to cook him out of it. Goodbye. There's your bath bomb. Goodbye, Sloth. P4 with the freebie. Cowana trading it back on the C4 into a 4 versus 4.
There'll be no relaxation in that bubble bath. This is the only thing bubbling out was Sloth's life as the nade went off. 4 versus 4 as we find ourselves with a trade in amongst it all. I believe it was Cowana on the Mozzie that was able to pick that one up. Now then, we're going to find a little bit of a lull, I think, as Vitality will just take a few seconds to take stock, get on the drones. As we can see, 3 of the players, Shinka, Cactus, Rise, all on the drones there, looking for that information. The Twitch drone using that new ability to be able to jump and get inside the map, taking out more utility. Something that Raz has actually done a very good job of so far with this drone.
I honestly love it. I think it's so strong. I always talk about it, but it's because it is ridiculously strong here. Imagine to evade it through everything. He's seen everything that he needs to see. Gets rid of the 1, gets rid of the 2, and the ADS on the way through. Man, those drones can be so deadly when in the right hands, and Rise has shown a bit of a masterclass there, same as Grizzly did back in the first half, if not a little over-aggressive at points. Now they have this north side control. Let's not forget, Sloth wasted a good chunk of time up there, and time and commitment and energy coming out of the attackers just by holding down and taking a bath inside the bathtub. Now did lose his life, of course, but with Bibba being traded out by a C4 not too long after, that's only 2 minutes they've burnt through, and only now are Vitality starting to rotate down towards the south side. And it's Benja. Oh, he wouldn't dare. Wouldn't dream, would he, Ace, of going for a run out here to try and collect someone. Must know that Study Door is going to be the threat, and sure enough, the spray comes through. But Benja, not hit.
He's right on the threshold. He's just waiting for Rise to come down and hop over that balcony. As soon as he hears that, Rise can't see him because of the chair, Des. That is all that is blocking his view. I think Benja just puts a few shots, or was it the man at top of main stairs? Benja just keeping himself locked in position. He's just waiting on that threshold. As soon as he hears Rise jump over that balcony, he's not going to get a chance, though, because Grizzly finds a long angle from inside a site. Is this the beginning of the end for Vitality? 20 seconds left to go, and they don't have access to site yet, Des. They need to get in there. They need to secure control, find a couple of kills, and get that diffuser down. Shinka starts to push in. He's going to tank a load of damage there, but he's got behind the vault door. He has the opportunity to put the diffuser down. That's exactly what he's going to have to try and do. Now then, Grizzly taken down on the cover, but Benja with the all-important kill knows exactly what and where the target is. Steps in, finds his man, and wins the game for Cowana. What a performance.
Third place secured by Cowana, back into the top 4. That's what you were looking for if you were them today. And Vitality, unfortunately, that inconsistency continues in the sea of doubt about whether or not they will finally make it to a major. Right now, you know, not the worst game. A bit slow on the attacks at some point. Cowana with that 5-round streak in the middle. Just making sure that felt like a bit of a walk in the park for them.
Whatever was said in that tactical timeout, Des, it did the job. Simple as that.
The first one, not the second one.
Yeah, forget the second one. The first one from Cowana really did the job. It turned the tide, it turned the momentum, and they just ran away with it. Benja, for me, was a critical part of that. But to be honest, the whole of Cowana functioned very, very well as a team today.
Everyone had their rounds, right? Whether it was Sloth in some rounds, Gorgon, others, Grizzly, the one we shouted at, even an kick with the 3K in the 1 round. Sure, they didn't win it, but showing that even he is to be feared when he's got the right weapon in his hands at the right time in the right place. That is the end of our 5th game, though. Let's go to a quick break, and when we come back, the analysts will have some words for you.